Hi, and welcome to the June Web Trends webinar, where we cover all of the latest updates in online marketing that have happened in the past month in 1 hour. First, I'll introduce myself. My name is Miriam Schwab. I'm the CEO of Luminea. We're a Jerusalem-based WordPress development and online marketing agency. We provide custom WordPress development based on existing themes, search engine optimization services, and social media marketing services. So let's get started. This study I thought was interesting about how women influence men online and vice versa. This is useful information for you if you're working on online marketing campaigns to see who the influencers are and where you should be concentrating your efforts. So this study showed that women sent. The study was that women sent Facebook friends an application that they had used, the notification about it. Men were 1.5 times more likely to act on that info than women. So men are more easily influenced, but also men in general are 49% more influential. So if you're looking for influencers, it's men, and the people who are influenced are men. For some reason, that's what this study has shown. So that's good information to keep in mind. Even though so many studies show that women are much more active in social media, but it's almost like we're talking but not listening. I don't know what the psychology is behind it. Twitter has rolled out expanded tweets. That means that on your mobile device, you'll see a much richer Twitter experience. It's not just 140 characters. This is similar to what you see on your desktop or your laptop. You can see the image, and if it's a video, you can see the video, and extra media like that will appear within tweets. What you can now see, they also added a new feature for verified Twitter accounts. Verified Twitter accounts are accounts of famous people or relatively famous people, and because there's a lot of fake Twitter accounts out there pretending to be famous people, Twitter wants to make sure that we know who the real guy is or the real woman. So they verified that that's actually the person who it claims to be the owner of the account, and you can tell what a verified account is by this blue check mark that appears next to the username. So I'm not sure if you're aware, but on Twitter, if you go to someone's profile, you can not see their replies, their @replies to people that you're not following. That was a feature or change that Twitter rolled out, I don't know, like a year or two ago. So now, if you go to a verified Twitter account, you can actually choose to see those @replies. If you want to see this particular user's entire, more complete Twitter activity, you can click on the top here. You see it says all or no replies. So here, this is no replies, and here you can see all, including all the @replies that they've written to people that you don't follow. So just an FYI. Twitter cards. Twitter also released something called Twitter cards. It's very similar to a feature that's existed for Facebook for a while already, called Open Graph. This is code that you can add to web pages to help you have more control over that particular page when it's shared on Facebook. That's Open Graph. And now for Twitter with Twitter cards. Twitter cards allows you to define certain things that will be shared on Twitter if someone shares your content. So that is the title, what the title will appear as, and you can see this is for expanded tweets, what the image will be, just like on Facebook, with Facebook Open Graph, you can control the image, and who the publisher is, the Twitter account, which Twitter account is connected to this content. So that's really useful to be able to give credit or attribution to the Twitter account that you want to be directly connected to your content. So, for example, the New York Times, the New York Times Twitter account will get credit for content that comes from it. So that's really useful. And it's added in a similar way as Open Graph. It's added to the header code of a site, and each piece of information gets its own line where you define it. So there are 3 card types. You can define the particular page on your site as a card type. It can be a summary, which is a title, description, thumbnail image. That's general types of content, just like an article or a blog post. A photo. So if the content is a photo, this is a different way of presenting it on Twitter. Or some kind of media like video or audio. And this is what the code looks like that you add to the head. Meta name equals Twitter card, content equals summary, or content equals photo or player, depending on which one you're using. So how can you add this relatively easily in WordPress? Of course, already there's a plugin. It's called Twitter Cards, and it adds the following type of information to the head of your code of your page. This is taken from a page on our blog called WP Garage. And you can see here, the Twitter type is summary because it's content. It's an article, it's a blog post. Here's the URL of the particular post. Here's the title. It takes the title that we gave the post. And here's the description. The problem with this plugin is that it doesn't give you control over, let's say, the title and the description. You might want a different title for when a post is shared on Twitter rather than the title that you have appear on your site. Maybe you want something shorter, more targeted. And also, it doesn't give you control over the description. So, but this is the start. Twitter Cards was just released like last week. So the fact that there's already a plugin is really impressive. And I'm sure that these plugins will improve as time goes on. On to YouTube. YouTube, as you know, has videos, and there's many third-party services, including websites or even browser add-ons, that allow you to download YouTube videos as MP4 or MP3s. So why MP3? People like to download just the audio from songs, and then they can put them in their iPods or whatever. This goes against YouTube's terms of service, and they've started threatening particular sites, in particular these 2 sites that make it easy to download music from Google and into MP3 files because it violates the terms of service, and Google has blocked their access to YouTube. One of the reasons this is so important to YouTube is that a lot of their users are uploading copyrighted content, right? I mean, hopefully they're uploading content they own the copyright to. And Google needs to work to protect their copyright for them so that it's not easy, they're not being pirated and downloaded and things like that. So Google started taking action about that. I don't know if they'll start taking action against MP4 sites, which allow you to download it as video. We'll see. But in the meantime, they're targeting MP3 sites. So on to Facebook. You might have heard that Facebook, like 2 weeks ago, bought an Israeli company called Face.com, Mazel Tov, for about $60 million, it's rumored. Face.com developed a technology that can scan photos and identify people within them. So, if it's already identified me in a photo, it can then find me in other photos and say, oh, here's Miriam in another photo, even if I wasn't tagged or identified as being in that photo. So Facebook bought this company and its technology and its fantastic domain name, face.com. And why would they do that? Because photo sharing on Facebook is a very interactive experience. People like seeing photos of themselves and sharing of other people. And so Facebook wants to help us make sure that we're tagging everything completely. So what Facebook will do is suggest tags to us and say, oh, you're friends with Jane, so I think Jane is in this picture over here, and would you like to tag her? So I don't know about you, but that seems pretty big brotherish to me. If I'm not tagged in a photo, I don't necessarily want to be tagged in that photo, and I don't want someone to know I'm in that photo. So how can we prevent Facebook from doing this? We can't prevent Facebook from running the facial recognition at this point. That technology is running anyways. But what we can do is the following. You can go to your privacy settings and then go to timeline and tagging, which is here. You'll see you have, when you go to privacy settings, you'll have a few options. There's one called timeline and tagging, and to the right of it, you can't see in the screenshot, it says edit settings. You click edit settings, and then you can tell Facebook not to suggest tagging of yourself to other people. So who sees tag suggestions when photos that look like you are uploaded? And you can say no one. And I mean, I don't know about you, but I would select the no one option unless you're okay with it. And then you click done, and the facial recognition technology won't run on pictures of yourself, or at least it won't report pictures of you that aren't tagged. You can choose to have just friends tag you if you want. But also, let's just note how this service is opt-out, not opt-in. So unless you've changed your settings, like I just told you how to do that, you have opted in against your will to this service where people can tag you on pictures that Facebook recognizes as you. This is as opposed to Google+, which in their favor, they made that type of service opt-in on Google+. So that's how this works. Another thing that happened in Facebook that created a huge uproar by users was that quietly, without anybody noticing, without notifying anybody, Facebook changed users' default email address in their profile from whatever they chose, whether it's a Gmail account or some other email, to their Facebook email. All users on Facebook now have a Facebook email address, which is their username at facebook.com. We discussed this in one of the previous webinars. That was rolled out a few months ago. But Facebook changed what appears if you go to someone's about and they've allowed people to see their email address, for example, that the email address that appears there is their facebook.com email. So this is annoying because A, why is Facebook changing how we want people to communicate with us without asking us or notifying us? And B, the facebook.com email, it just goes into your Facebook inbox. You don't even get email notifications about new messages. So everything just happens in Facebook, and that's not useful. So luckily, of course, you can change it back if you're aware of it, and this is how you do it. You go to your profile page and you click About, which is in the top corner. And then you'll have a bunch of boxes on the page of different types of information. In the bottom right-hand corner is Contact Info. Click Edit. So you see here's the email addresses. And it shows you 2 email addresses that you have available, and you can change your settings. So I made Miriam Schwab at facebook.com a locked email address, and I made this, and I still have it set that it appears on my timeline, but it doesn't because I made it that nobody can see it. And my business email address is available to friends and appears on my timeline. So I've removed the facebook.com email address and put back my regular one. And then you'll see you can also add and remove other email addresses to your accounts and to your timeline. This is just an interesting piece that I saw that I thought was worth mentioning. So, as you know, the Syrian government is massacring their citizens on an ongoing basis, and certain countries in the world are trying to put pressure on Syria to stop. So the U.S. ambassador to Syria is using Facebook to send messages to the Syrian military. So the ambassador is writing up messages here about how what they're doing is wrong, they should stop, etc., and is hoping that the Syrian military is checking it out here. I guess they can't communicate directly, so I thought that was an interesting use of Facebook for diplomacy. Facebook has added a feature where you can export events. That's useful because until now, basically, if you decided to create an event or attend an event, then it just was stuck in Facebook and it wasn't added to your general calendar, and you could forget about it, it could get lost in the shuffle kind of thing. So now you have two ways to export events. One is you can save to your calendar, and one is you can send to an email. So here's what it looks like. If you choose Save to Calendar, it downloads an ICS file, which you can then import into your calendar. I think that's a pain. So the Send to Email option is actually really useful because it sends you like this type of invitation, which I'm sure you've seen for Outlook invitations or Google Calendar invitations. It comes into your email, and all you have to do is add to calendar, and you also have the ICS version here, and then it's added. So that's really useful if you want to keep track of events that you've RSVP'd to on Facebook in your regular calendar. On to Pinterest. So we discussed in a previous webinar how Pinterest had added attribution for certain sites, and what this means is if someone shares a piece of content, let's say from YouTube, then stuck to the pin is attribution to YouTube and the page where it came from. And this is important because on Pinterest, as a pin gets shared more and more, it's where it originated can get removed along the way. So this type of attribution for these types of sites makes sure that the attribution sticks there and stays with the pin as it's shared. This was added for Flickr, and I don't remember which other sites before, and now it's been added for Etsy, 500 Pix, Kickstarter, SlideShare, and SoundCloud. So that's great for people who are content creators. The attribution can't be removed or changed, and Pinterest has said they're going to even apply this retroactively. So if people have shared content from these sites in the past, the attribution will now be added to those pins. So that's great for those content creators as well. LinkedIn. So we had discussed this also in a previous webinar. LinkedIn was allowing targeted status updates to companies, and now it's rolled out to everyone. What this does is this allows you to create certain updates and show them to certain demographics. So you can see here, you can choose a certain industry that you want to see out of your page. This is for your company page followers. A certain industry that you want to see this update, a certain level of seniority you can see over here, a location. The benefit of this is that instead of the the typical, throw spaghetti against the wall, see where it sticks kind of approach to social updates, now you can post an update and make sure that those who would be most interested in it will see it, and those who won't, it won't waste their time. And Philips, for example, started using targeted status updates, and they saw 106% increase in engagement by followers of their company page on LinkedIn. LinkedIn has also added an insights page similar to what Facebook has, where you can see statistics about who's following your company page, how's your page growing, and the level of engagement. So just in general, LinkedIn gave some stats about why people even follow companies on LinkedIn. What is their interest there? So 67% follow a company to gain industry insight, 61% for company news, and 49% to be part of the community. So that's also important to keep in mind if you're trying to build up your LinkedIn company page. Why are people there? And you can offer them, these types of things that could be interesting to 3 different groups of people. WordPress. So WordPress has recently launched version 3.4, and even since then 3.4.1, which was 3.4.1 had bug fixes and some security fixes. So what are some interesting features in WordPress 3.4? You can now easily embed tweets. I'm sure you've seen, a YouTube video embedded in a page. So it's got the player and everything, and it's alive. And in WordPress, you can do that really easily by just taking the URL of the page where the video is, pasting it into the editor. You have to make sure that the link is not actually like an active link, and then it turns it into an editor like magically. So you can now embed tweets. What does that mean? You go to the page of a tweet, you take the URL, you paste it into the WordPress editor, make sure it's unlinked, and it turns into like a live tweet where The username is a link. So there's a retweet button, favorite button. It's like from Twitter's site in your web page. You could do this in the past with third-party services or plugins, but now it's built into WordPress, and that's really useful. Photo captions, if you use the WordPress native photo gallery, can now be made into custom links. This is really useful if you have like a page that has a bunch of photos and you want each photo to link to its own gallery or something like that, or a page with an article. Now those captions can be custom links. Hopefully one day the photo itself can also be a custom link. But in the meantime, that's at least a start in improving the WordPress gallery. WordPress also launched a theme customizer, which it has to be added on the development side, but if it has been added and you're using a WordPress theme with those features, then you can make live changes to your site appearance. So you can say, okay, background, I want to change it from red to blue, and you put blue, and you can see the changes live. I want to change all links from purple to green, no problem. Click, click, click. You can see live. Only you see the changes, and then once you're satisfied with the changes you've made, you can make them live, and then your site's viewers can also see those changes. So that's really handy for theme developers in particular, who want to give their users more flexibility and more control. But now at least it's part of the WordPress core, because it's kind of been messy until now where every theme developer is creating their own options panel, and it's better if there's some kind of standard that everyone can use. So that's really useful. A little known feature that was added in WordPress 3.4, which I only know about because Yoav Farhi, who works for Automatic and works on their right-to-left and localization features, is that if you've installed WordPress in right-to-left, meaning either in Hebrew or in Arabic, then the editor has added this button here. So what is this button? You can write Hebrew and English in the same editor, and if you click it with the text, it left aligned. So I wrote, Shalom in Hebrew, then I wrote hello, how are you in English, and hello, how are you, I clicked this button, so it left aligned it, and then I want to go back to Hebrew, so I click this button again, it toggles on and off, and then I can write in Hebrew again. So writing Hebrew and English, and I'm assuming Arabic and English, in the same editor can be very messy because of the need to align right to left and left to right and all that, and make sure it appears properly. So there are plugins that do this for you, but it's nice now that this is part of the native editor for WordPress. I think it would be nice if this feature was added to left to right installations, because I may have, an English site or German or French or anything left to right, and I want to also have content in a right to left language like Hebrew and Arabic. So that it can work that way as well. But in the meantime, this is nice, and I didn't see it reported anywhere else except for in the Hebrew WordPress group on Facebook. So just FYI, that now exists. And this is how the HTML looks. If you saw Shalom was right to left, so that doesn't get any markup, because by default the installation is right to left. The left to right gets P direction equals left to right. Tags around it to left line it, and then the Hebrew is back again without any markup. Here's a little news about search engine optimization. An interesting post on SEO Moz about the problem with having long title tags. So what are title tags? Just to give you some background. If you have your browser open and you're on a page, the title tags are not the actual title that you see on the post. It's what appears in the browser tab. If you go to the top of your browser, you'll see a title there. Sometimes it's the same as the blog post title, sometimes it's different. That title that appears in the top of your browser tab is very important for search engine optimization. You can have let's say a long blog post title, and then choose to have a shorter title in the title tags for Google and for the browser. So SEO Moz, one of their writers, was searching for a post they'd written in the past. He knew the title, but he couldn't remember, where it was exactly. So he did a search in Google, and he found this search result. Instead of having a normal-looking title appear in the search results, it basically took the URL, seomods.com/whatever/custom-reporting. That's the URL that WordPress creates and the SEO Mods creates, and used that as the title. So that's not very user-friendly. Why would Google choose to use that as the title? So it appears that Google has become more insistent that the titles that appear in search results are short. And it's not even a matter of letters. It's about how wide it is. So if you have a lot of W's in your title, then that means you have less letters that you can use in your title. So Google saw this post, saw a long title, decided it was too long, and was looking for a better title. Now, the better title that it chose, for some reason, was from the URL. So that's not user-friendly. That's not good for, getting people to click through to your content. So the lesson here is make sure that your title, as opposed to your blog post title that appears on the page, like I told you, is short, so that it's useful what appears in the search results. Now, luckily for WordPress users, we can control what actually appears in the title thanks to Yoast's amazing WordPress SEO plugin. So here's my post and here's my title. And as you can see, if you go to the actual page, this is what appears here right above the content. So this is on the actual page. But let's say I want something different to appear in the title tags. If I scroll down on the edit page in WordPress, then there's a meta box called WordPress SEO by Yoast, and this is where I can control a lot of the content that's connected to search engine optimization of a page. So it shows me what the search results will look like. This is the preview. And here's the SEO title. So as you can see, I can choose to put in something different. So the title of the post is Data Serialization WordPress My New Best Friend. But I want something that makes it clearer to people searching what the post is about. So preserving data serialization during migration in WordPress. And then I would click update. And that would be the title that appears in the browser tab and in search results, as opposed to this one, which will appear to users when they're reading the post. See, here's my title on that same page in the browser. So that's a bit about using title tags and about the importance of them being short, particularly in light of Google's increased insistence that title tags be brief. And WordPress SEO allows you to control that really easily. Jetpack. So Jetpack is a plugin that's actually a collection of plugins for WordPress, and it was released by Automatic. Until now, I haven't been really impressed by anything that's in there. It's all features that you can get somewhere else, and Jetpack seems to me like something where Automatic is trying to get its fingers into non-WordPress.com sites. So it never seemed interesting to me, and it even seemed, like something I would want to stay away from. But now they just released this new feature as part of the plugin, which enriches the comments area in a really useful and clean way. So basically, when people leave comments on your site, out of the box, they need to put in their name and their email address, and they can put in their website if they want, and they have to enter it each time, and then they can post the comment. Of course, that depends on your settings, how you set up WordPress, but in general, that's what's necessary. Now, you can offer people to log in to their Facebook or Twitter accounts or WordPress.com accounts and post as their profiles. So rather than having to enter this every time, they can authorize their Facebook profile with the comments, and then it's connected to their Facebook profile. That's useful for the following reasons. A, people are generally logged into Facebook and or Twitter, so they can just use that already, and they don't have to enter their information every time. It creates a connection between the comment and their social profiles, which could theoretically mean they can post the comment on their profile, and others will see the comment they left and then find out about your site. So, and also, when people don't have to enter information every time, it actually lowers the barrier to commenting. So it could mean increased commenting on your site. So that's a really nice feature that was just added by Jetpack. This is a plugin that I came across, and the reason I'm mentioning it is because in the last few months, 2 clients mentioned how they would like to be able to take an existing blog post and duplicate it. Like, let's say someone's adding a lot of videos to their site, and each video gets its own post, and they each have the same tags, and they each have the same category, and even the title, let's say, is basically the same except for some change, and the SEO information is the same. They just want to copy it and use that to start rather than entering everything from scratch every time. So I came across this plugin which actually does that, and it adds various ways for you to duplicate posts, and I'll show you how. So first, you're in the edit page of a post. You can copy it to a new draft right here. You'll see a link there, and then it creates a new draft based on all the information on that page. If you're on the page that lists posts that exist in your site, you can click on clone, and again, it creates a copy of that post. If you're on the front end of your site, so you can go to edit post on the WordPress toolbar that appears at the top when you're logged in, copy to a new draft, and you've created a new draft of that particular post. So that's 3 really useful ways for you to create copies of your posts, if that's something that's useful to you. Here are the options for this plugin. You can choose, let's say, for example, to take the publication date for the new copy. You might have a need for that for some reason. By default, the publication date of the new copy will be today's date, like when you created the copy. You can copy the original post status if it's published or pending or whatever. The excerpt can be the same, attachments, like you can choose to take whatever you want. And there's more features here. So that's a very useful plugin if that's something that you're looking for. Mobile stuff. So Waze, the mobile app that acts like a GPS, but it's got social components where people report, traffic issues, and you can see other people using Waze as you're driving along. Developed in Israel. They just added some interesting features, which is, I think, are very smart for them, for users, for everybody. So if you're driving along, you can actually see the price of gas at gas stations. So let's say you're going to have to fill up. So okay, I'm coming to the gas station there. It costs $4.95 per gallon to fill up. But if I just wait a little bit more, then here it's $4.30. So it empowers consumers to save on gas, and it provides the information that they need. Of course, I don't think this would be relevant in Israel because I think every gas station here has the same pricing due to regulations and whatever, but in the States and Canada, where gas stations actually do have different prices, this is really useful to users. They've also added a feature for gas stations to offer coupons to encourage users to come to their gas station. As you're driving along, a coupon will appear. Get a coupon, get 5 cents off every gallon, and you just have to show it when you drive in. So gas is a very important part of a driver's experience, and Waze has now added 2 ways to help users save on gas, and for gas stations to encourage users to come in and fill up there. So very smart, very useful for countries where it's relevant, as in not here in Israel. There's a debate going on about mobile web versus mobile apps, native apps that you install on your mobile device. So many content sites have created apps and are creating apps, native apps that you install in order to encourage users to continue to engage with their content. However, a recent study has shown that users who are consuming content prefer mobile websites. And the reasons for this are kind of logical. If you're searching in Google for something, and that's where you're going to come across content that may take you to a site. You want a mobile web experience. You're not necessarily going to be installing an app. Also, when you're in a site, you're clicking through to more content, even content off-site, content that brings you back to the site. That whole experience should be a mobile web experience. If you're in an app, it can be a problem. I don't know if you've ever used like a news site app. There's the Ynet one. Sometimes you click through on a link within an article, and then it takes you off the mobile app to the website anyway. So you're going back and forth, and it's not a consistent experience. Also, with the development of HTML5 and CSS3, you can create a mobile website that virtually acts like a native application. Provides the same type of user experience, but the user doesn't have to install it and can continue to use it through the browser. They can choose to add it to their home screen as a shortcut. So in many ways, the experience can be used the same as a native app, but they're using it through a browser. The advantage to the new site that owns this mobile web site or web app is that they're not dependent on getting approved by iTunes. I just met someone who told us that they have a news aggregator, like a collection of news items that they send out to like a mailing list of over 100,000 every day. And it's not just a collection they threw together. They think about it every day, and they choose the most important things that these people will want to know about a particular topic. And they want to create a native mobile app for their users. And it was rejected by iTunes because they saw it as an aggregator. And no matter how much they told iTunes that users love this and value it and it's valuable content, they refused. If you have a web app, then you control it. You put it up. You want to update it? No problem. Update your site, and it's rolled out to everyone who's looking at it on a browser. If you need to update a mobile app, you need to submit the updates to iTunes and wait until it gets approved and applied and whatever. So that's where the web is heading now, to this type of battle between mobile web and mobile apps. And seems like particularly for content-based sites or providers, a mobile web experience is increasingly the way to go. So here's some interesting tools that I came across along the way, which I thought you guys might find interesting as well. Web screenshots. So taking screenshots can often be useful and important. Taking screenshots on your mobile device, the iPhone and Samsung Galaxy, if you press the on button and the home button at the same time, it will take a screenshot. But not every Android device has that feature, as I recently saw. And also, it only takes a screenshot of what is visible on the screen at that time. But let's say you want to take a screenshot of an entire page, even what's scrolled, like what you would have to scroll to see. So on the desktop, there's many services, plugins, extension, browser add-ons that do that. But on mobile, there isn't. This is a mobile site, but it's compatible with mobile browsers. And you can go to it and you can take a screenshot of a particular site on your mobile and see what it looks like on mobile. So that can be useful if you need that kind of thing. Fanzy. This is a Facebook application that allows you to run contests, provide rewards to your fans in an easy way and in a way that works with Facebook's terms and conditions, because Facebook doesn't allow you to provide compensation to people who like your page unless you have a paid ad campaign or you're using a third-party service. So here you can use this. Basically, anytime someone becomes a fan of your page, you can give them something in return. It could be, some kind of digital download, an ebook, whatever you want, and it's free. So, you might as well try it if it's free. I thought that was an interesting new tool. And here's a little bit about news. So in Louisiana, a new law has been enacted where sex offenders have to actually update their Facebook status saying they're sex offenders. So doesn't make, I can't really see all these people being able to accumulate friends with that kind of status. But the idea is to allow the community to know who a person is, and if they have a past like that, It's now public on their Facebook status, and it's the law. That's an interesting new law that's applying to social networking and crime. YouTube is set to make $3.6 billion this year. That's huge. Their traffic is growing at 20% per quarter, and I'm sure you've seen they're putting more and more ads inside videos. Every time you press play, or not every time, but a lot, you'll have to watch an ad first before you can actually watch the video. It's interesting to see how much of that revenue Google hands out for revenue sharing with partners. You can either be like a particular type of partner, like Vivo, where Google has a revenue sharing agreement with you. But also, Google recently rolled out that channels can become some kind of partner where you agree to allow YouTube to put ads on your videos, and any revenue from those ads you share with Google. So out of 3.6 billion, Google is handing out 1.2 billion in revenue sharing. So that's huge. And that's it for this month. So if you have any questions or suggestions, comments, I'd love to hear. I hope you'll join us again next month, and you'll be able to find the slideshow and the video online. We're going to be posting it on our blog, so a lot of the links here that I mentioned here are live in the presentation. You can click on them and check out the services that we mentioned and the tools. And that's it. So thanks for watching, and I hope I'll see you again next month.